When we have come out of this period where all of America's allies have expressed so much uncertainty about the role the United States should play in the world, the sustainability of the alliances, all of these things, how is it possible that we have the French president, Macron, saying, yep, America's back. Yep, that's right. How's that possible?
Well, in part because they want America to be back and wish is their command. They want a United States that's engaged. They want a United States that cares, even loves Europe, that thinks that Europe is important. They want a United States that's there to be on the global stage to enhance themselves. They want a United States that figures out how to deal with some of the big challenges that they themselves are unwilling or unable to deal with. So in that sense, they're just happy in that America is back. But America's also back. I mean, it's a reality. It's not just about what they want. In the very important sense that this president returns the United States to the kind of engagement that used to be the norm and was the norm for a very long period of time, no matter how many disagreements one might have had between George W. Bush and a Clinton or Obama administrations. And by the way, there were a lot of disagreements. The fact that the United States had an indispensable role, a leading role in the world was never questioned until Donald Trump was president. And Biden comes from a generation, comes from a sense and an engagement sense that says, no, that's the role we need to take. Now, the real question, right, is how long is that United States going to be back rather than a Trumpian United States? And I think the other question is the kind of way the United States has engaged the world still the appropriate way for dealing with the challenge we have? But back, yeah, for sure.
And I mean, we'll get to both of those things. But I mean, if you want to ask how much of this is about Biden being president, someone that they know, they're comfortable with, he's a multilateral in orientation, he likes diplomacy, I mean, his team is oriented that way, and how much of this is the Russians increasingly antagonizing under Putin a lot of American allies? How much of this is the Chinese increasingly antagonizing a lot of the allies and a reaction? I mean, if you had to balance those things, how would you score it?
Well, it's not an either or. It's an and, right? It is from a geopolitical, a realism, a foreign policy perspective. The national interest of the countries in Europe is being threatened directly by what Russia is doing, directly in terms of military force and the capabilities they have acquired over the last decade plus, the willingness to use that force, threatened by cyber intrusions, threatened by disruptive behavior with regard to our electoral systems, on gas, on so many other ways, and of course, threatened by the Chinese, threatened ideologically, threatened politically, threatened economically, and indeed increasingly threatened militarily. The Chinese are in Europe. China may not be in Europe, but the Chinese are. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, through a whole variety of ways in which they have economic and political linkages created to NATO members, including members like Italy and Greece.
And they've been welcomed. The Chinese have been welcomed by those European members.
Exactly. So they're very much part of this. And there is an interest to say, okay, we want to engage with them, but we also want to make sure that our own interests are protected. And we need the United States for that purpose. We need a counterbalance. We need a balance of power that, in fact, favors us over those two challenges that they face. And they can't do it by themselves, no matter how much they want to talk about European sovereignty or strategic autonomy.